I'm dressing the top of this turnover. Make sure it's a nice sort of shape, nice fluid shape over. And the line that I think, which is the centre, will come over here like this. So that this side here is a bit wider than that side, so you get a bit of perspective. So it'll be somewhere about there. But I am also going to start undercutting this. So as we come around here, this is going to be pulled into the back, so it's turning over like that. That gives us even more of a sense of the size of it. And over here we still have our little leaf. Let's get that back there. Okay, so now you could start this with a V tool. In fact, why don't we start that? So I'm going to run that line down here, right over there. So it's coming from down here, oops, up and over and round like that. But what I want to do is actually round this part over here and round that part over, so there's a little bit of a soft shape going on, and that this side of the turnover is a little bit more rounded than this side over here. And I can even make that a little bit stronger by just cutting in here like this. And this will come right over towards the tip over here. It comes over there like that, and there's the tip down here. Now the tip will actually be undercut a little bit here. So the very tip is off the ground, off the background. So let's just put that in here. To put this extra little leaf at the back here, I'm going to literally make just a cut like this. Like so. And then I'm going to pick up this bit of the turnover. So this turnover is being undercut here as it comes round. And then we're into that corner there, and a slight undercut on that edge, so I can start undercutting around here as I go. Around here, so make sure that's cut right through to the backing paper there, and it comes up under this very tip here. Okay, so that's all we need to make that little leaf there. Take that off. We'll do this one on this side. I'm going to create a delta here to cut in that top leaf. So just take a bit of out there and then extend that. Make sure I get the right tool here. Extend that. Again, tapering. Everything's heading back underneath. So extend that cut over there. So that's all we really need to make that leaf here. and we can model them a little bit, you know, as we did before, if I can find the right tool. Again, just perhaps on half the leaf, just quietly putting in a sort of bit of a centre vein here by having two ridges down the middle. So there's a ridge between these two little cuts here that comes down. So something like that, some sort of modelling is all that's needed. And then the last thing we really need to do on this leaf is to put in this centre vein. And the simplest way is just to run it with a V tool down here, tilting it to one side. So just pick a very gentle cut at this point, following our line. Now at some point, I've tilted this over, you see, so it's angled. At some point I'm not going to be able to get around that corner. So that's where something like a bent V tool really comes into its own. So this is a short bent or a spoon V tool, and I can bring it round underneath like this. If you can't use the V tool like this, then you can cut it in with your gouges. I think the turnover is looking good now. So what we need to do is a last licking up, a last going over the surfaces, making sure everything's nice and clean, and especially to make sure that the edges are where we want them. And when we've done that, we'll get on with the undercutting. The undercutting here is very similar, the same really, to what we've done with the other Acanthus leaves. So this area here on this side and here have to come back about 20 degrees. So make sure that your edge is right. This is important. That's the edge that we'll see. Then anything underneath here, from that edge down, that is going to be removed. So we're going to cut this back straight in at about 20 degrees, and we can come right down into the wood at the back. Just work your way around here, and in this part here, where it's a little bit more difficult, you're going to just have to do the best you can to get in there. And of course the undercutting comes from behind here on this part as much as through there. So work around here, straight down, and like a part over here, you can try and get these slicing cuts like this, so that the tool doesn't just push in but slices across. Then you join that one with a cut coming in this direction, like so. And then trying to match this curve here. And cutting into here as best you can. So work your way around like this, joining everything up. I've completed the undercutting all the way around. There's very little on the back here because it slopes down to the background, so it's very tiny amount of undercutting, mainly here. And I've used my skew chisel successfully to push the undercutting back into these areas here, best I can. So once we're happy with that, the last thing we need to do is just take a bit of very fine sandpaper and just wipe this over, like so, just to make sure that it's quite tactile, get rid of some of those really hard edges. And then we're ready to remove it from the background. To take the carving off, I'm going to use this paint spatula for putting on spackle or filler, this sort of thing. It's quite stiff, that's what I like. And because it's short, it can only really come in from the side, not along the length of this. I've already started, and it's the same principle. You keep it flat, find the paper, work it in, like so, and gradually work it around. Like so. Hear this coming off, creaking. And I'm splitting the paper, and there's the paper split. The back. There's the carving free. This is my sanding board. I've got sandpaper glued to a flat piece of ply, and I put the carving down, supporting it all around, just quietly rub off some of that paper. You don't have to get it all off because the glue will stick to the paper as well, but this flattens the surface, make sure it's flat, and just cleans it up. And this you can brush off afterwards with a soft brush. The last thing is just to trim off these edges with a sharp knife, and especially clean up right into there. So you can hold the knife like this and push it, or you can hold the knife like this and keep your thumb out of the way and pull down like that. But work your way all the way around, clean up the carving, and then the carving's finished.